Let's open this thing on up with a little bit of Mountain Dew.
Is that a search can?
Pepper.
Oh,
no,
Mountain Dew,
Dr.
you
Pepper.
traitor.
Sorry, no, it wasn't Mountain Dew. Sorry, I don't even know why I said that. It was Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper and cream soda. Yeah, it's Dr. Pepper and cream soda, man. They threw that shit together, and now it's fucking magic in a can.
Magic in a can, shit.
Yeah. Whew, Lord have mercy. Today, may as well just jump right into it here then.
Yep. Let's just get the credibility shit.
Yeah.
If you know who you are, you're listening. If you don't, you're not listening. That's how YouTube's algorithm works. You know.
You'll learn about our credibility through
lack of.
Yeah, true. Yes. But we're gonna be talking about the 5 games that kind of inspired our gaming styles. What has made us the gamers that we are today?
What has made us the maladjusted boomers that we are today?
I think you're speaking for yourself. I don't give a shit.
I'll speak for myself because all my shit's retro.
Oh no, is it?
Yes, there's nothing new that I would consider like holds candle to my top 5 here.
I mean, I have one that's semi-recent, I guess. But since you're going retro, let's have you start here then.
My number 5 and number 4, I'm not exactly sure which order I should put them in because I guess this is interchangeable, right? But I'm going to start off with Devil May Cry 1 on the PS2.
Oh, I remember watching you play it for the first time.
Yes, it was a magical moment. I mean, I lost my extreme action virginity in front of you.
You know,
can't wait to see the fangirls ship that.
I'm really glad that I was there for it.
I'm so glad you were my first.
There was a puddle of piss coming down your leg. Once you started
piss and
slicing.
tears.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
it was beautiful and embarrassing at the same time.
We played that demo, because it came with the code. It came with Code Veronica PS2, Resident Evil Code Veronica. But I played it. When I played it, I was like, "Holy shit! I got to show Matt this." So then went to Matt's place and showed him it, and we played.
I went to your place, dude.
Oh, did you come by to play? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was me, Travis, and.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, but we played that. I mean, just tons.
We played the demo like 12 times through.
We probably played the demo as long as it takes for it to be able to actually beat the game. So yeah, we played a lot.
The full game.
Yeah. Anyways, go on.
But yeah, Devil May Cry. The reason why Devil May Cry 1 gets top spot is because, as far as like being an action game, it was. For me, pretty revolutionary. It was one of the first of that type I've ever played. I mean, this is a game that kind of inspired God of War and Ninja Gaiden, but this was a game that completely redefined what action was. I mean, you can do awesome combos. You had a cocky main character. You're killing zombies and demons and shit. You're uppercutting up in the air, juggling them with your guns. I mean, it was. As I said repeatedly to ad nauseum with Bobby when I had my action game cherry popped, I was like, "Oh my god, it's like the Matrix! It's like the Matrix!"
Yeah,
I said it like over and over, and you guys were just like, "Yeah, we get it, man. It's like the fucking Matrix."
I think you just every time you started shooting the dual pistols, you're like Matrix.
Yes. But it was glorious.
It's cool though. I mean, you feel like a badass.
That level of extreme action has stuck with me ever since, and you'll see it in games like Katana Zero and a bunch of like new 8-bit inspired games that just absolutely kick-ass combo systems, absolutely over-the-top action. I mean, it's just gotten better and better and better, and my love and appreciation for that type of game has just grown over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it definitely did set a new standard for what an action game can be. And it's still, I don't know, the Devil May Cry series still, I don't think there's a whole lot of other games that has been able to really touch what they bring still. Like, it's just, I
think God of War and Ninja Gaiden are pretty close.
Yeah, but those are more like, I mean, I guess the older God of War games can be able to match up to it for sure.
Because the newer God of War games, well, not the new one, but the ones like PlayStation 3 are just kind of rehashes of the same concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's pretty good. I would love to be able to see more.
Yeah, it's definitely the granddaddy of extreme action.
I'd like to see more though, for sure. Like I still feel it's like a genre that has a lot of expanding that it could be able to do.
Oh yeah. And I mean, Devil May Cry 5, you said it's slow paced. I agree with that. I also think it's a bit disjointed in places, but that special edition of Devil May Cry 4, besides backtracking, is amazing.
Yeah,
and
the backtracking.
I still like DMC.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it has Emo Dante, the combat was solid.
Mm-hmm. I mean, peak for me was 3 with
3 was good.
3 was outstanding. So many cool weapons.
The only thing that pissed me off about 3 is you can't do real-time weapon switching. You can't do real-time like style swapping. So like you have to pick like 2 weapons to take with you, and then that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least you could be able to do that though. You couldn't really be able to do that with the first Devil May Cry.
Oh no, definitely no. But I'm just saying that again, as it progresses, it keeps getting better, and by the end of Devil May Cry 4, when you're playing Dante and you got all the powers and shit, you have 4 projectile weapons, 4 melee weapons, and 4 styles to combine the different types of weapons you have. Mm-hmm. The combos are almost infinite, and it's just orgasmic. Mm-hmm. So Devil May Cry 1 set a precedent, and everything's just gotten better ever since.
Yeah. No.
So, and it's if I make a 2D action game, which I have a couple in my head, it's gonna have Devil May Cry influences.
Yeah.
What about yours, dude? What's first on your chopping block?
So I've got mine in no particular order, really, but I will start with the one that kind of set me up for the future.
Okay.
Megaman 2.
Is good choice
one for me. Just because
was that your spiral into gaming?
It wasn't my spiral into gaming. I played a lot of games up until that point, but Mega Man 2 is the one that really just it taught me patience. Because Mega Man 2 is a bitch of a game, and when I think of it, like it's not too terribly hard, but as a kid, I was like 5 years old, 6, and being able to be that age and have to memorize the block patterns of Heatman's level to be able to cross that damn blocks. Lava pit.
Fuck block patterns. That stuff always sucked.
Yeah, it teaches you a lot of things that like I said, with patience and knowing that there's a way to be able to break down a game to be able to go further into it. If I had not done Mega Man 2 and such, I probably would have given up on Battletoads. I would have probably given up on like Skate or Die 2, Friday the 13th, all these games that took forever for me to beat, but using what I learned from Mega Man 2 and just knowing that there's a process to how to go through a level, it helped me get through it all. So there's that. But also music, like Mega Man 2.
Oh, yes, Flashman's theme, Dr. Wily's theme.
Yeah, man, I love Metal Man. I love that theme there. And, just that music, I feel really like that's why I enjoy electronic music so much growing up and to this day, because just the music that they were making back then was just so good. It was so catchy, and it just, you wanted to play those levels just because they had good music to them. So Mega Man franchise always had a lot of good music. I really like the music in Mega Man 2. It just a lot of fun. Isn't Mega Man music, especially like the old early NES Mega Mans, isn't like 8-bit heavy metal? I mean, if you can almost like hear certain theme songs in your head with like a guitar instead of like little beeps and boops. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
like again, Flashman and the Dr. Wily's intro stage. Yep.
No, you can imagine it. Yeah, you can imagine like heavy, like just metal covers of those songs, which many people have done.
Which there are, yes.
So,
but like, in Japan, he's called Rockman, right?
Yeah, I know, right? I guess that's pretty accurate. Then
he should have been a little 8-bit Gene Simmons run through.
No, we would not want to disgrace Mega Man like that. I'm joking. I hate Gene Simmons. Ugh, that's annoying. I appreciate what he's done, but that's it.
We'll make him look more like one of the the Nordic black metal dudes with the white face paint that's all like shredded up and
There
shit.
you go. You can go with that. Hell yeah. All right, then. Well,
Good stuff.
Megaman. So what's yours? What's your next one?
All right. Next up, my number 4 is Chrono Trigger for the SNES, and here's why. Number 1, I came into Chrono Trigger far too late to get during like Super Nintendo era. I ended up playing it way into well within the PlayStation 2's life cycle. Chrono Trigger, well, Final Fantasy VII, and I hope Final Fantasy VII isn't on your list because I'm kind of gonna take a little bit of a swipe at it.
Yeah.
Well, I played Final Fantasy VII 4 times through. Mm-hmm. It didn't have the story cohesion, and it had memorable characters, though. But I still think that Chrono Trigger it dove into each individual character just a bit harder than any other JRPG I ever played. So between a better combat system where you can sneak behind enemies if you don't want to fight them, to combining special powers to take down very, very memorable enemies, it had a storyline that just was, especially for, again, a Japanese RPG, is far more coherent. I mean, granted, it's time travel. There's a giant hedgehog trying to destroy the world, and it's not just Sonic and his fandom. But I don't know. Everything about it is just something that was. It struck a chord with me because, again, music, graphics, the gameplay, it all fit together like it was the perfect RPG. And I've yet to play another RPG, whether it's Western or Eastern, that just matched that level of perfection.
Yeah. I never got the chance to actually be able to play it.
It's brilliant. It is brilliant.
I need to, because didn't they recently come out with like a...
They released it on Steam, and they I know several fan projects have been trying to create like high-res versions of it, and they keep getting those cease and desist letters. Yeah. But I know Chrono Trigger isn't hard to find if you can get it on Steam, and I think there's probably some digital stores like PlayStation Store you can get it on. Yeah. I imagine it's on the... they released it for the PlayStation with Final Fantasy IV, which is Final Fantasy II for the US, on the PlayStation in a anthology or whatever they called it.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they had like cinematic scenes by the guy who did the Dragon Ball, or the artist of Dragon Ball Z and stuff, and but the loading times suck on that, so just fair warning. Yeah. But yeah, if you can get a digital copy of it, it's strongly worth playing. I mean, it's a journey, and it's a memorable journey with characters that by the time I got done with it, I was like, I really just wish they had more to it, because I still wanted to stay with those characters, and for me, that's pretty huge. Yeah. Nice. So, I don't know. I just really enjoy the shit out of it.
There's something about those kind of older games, like the earlier Final Fantasies and Chrono Trigger and all of that, where they just got to, they've got a, I don't know. There's just a particular draw to it there, then, because it's not like it's like an immersive game or anything like that. It's one of those kind of top-down isometric kind of views and such, but as you've said before about how storytelling goes, it allows you to be able to connect with the characters and be able to kind of figure out the story yourself a little bit, because you're filling in the blanks on how everything is. It's kind of like, just reading a book and Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's also like how I like horror that is like not super realistic. Like I'd rather take an 8-bit looking horror game than Silent Hills PT, because again you fill in a bit. Although granted,
that's outrageous. You didn't play PT at all, anyways. You can't say you played PT.
I stared at the wall the entire time. I know.
Yeah, you did. Fuck you.
I know I did.
Whatever. Terrible.
But you're saying about reading a book, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you just fill in the blanks, and you get to kind of create this more immersive experience for yourself rather than having the game decide that for you. So there is definitely a charm to those kind of games back then. They made you think, and that was part of the reward of it all.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, granted, the graphics for the Super Nintendo were pretty outstanding, and the music is still some of the best game music. If you get a chance, go on ocremix.org and they have an entire album out where they've remixed almost every single track from Chrono Trigger. They did the same thing with like Final Fantasy VII and stuff, and Doom. And some of it's just really, really good.
Nice.
Like there's the Megas fight theme by Zircon, and oh man, it's a head bopper.
Oh boy! Wow!
Oh boy! No malarkey.
What a toe tapper, a knee slapper. What that? That's just man. Sweet Jesus!
But no, it's genuinely some good shit.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. No, that is one I need to jump into for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, definitely play it. I mean, it may take like 30 hours of your life, but it is worth it. And for me, for a guy who doesn't like JRPGs. This and Final Fantasy 6 or 3 in the US is also worth your time.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And Earthbound, although I just barely touched that. So
yeah, I never did play Earthbound. Heard a lot of good things about it.
I'm only scratched deep in that, and I'm kind of enjoying it. So we'll see.
Nice.
So, anyways, you got any RPGs on your list?
I do actually. Yes.
Oh, nice. Final Fantasy VII.
We're going to talk about Final Fantasy VII.
I knew it. No, and I wasn't taking shit. I wasn't taking shit away from Final Fantasy VII. I just think the Chrono Trigger is a superior game.
Cool. Sounds good. You're wrong, but whatever. No. So Final Fantasy VII. It's my first RPG I ever played. Remember, a buddy needed help getting past a certain stage, and so he's like, "Hey, can you get me past this level?" Because he knew I'm a game nerd. I can get him past things, and he's like, "I can't beat this boss," and I was like, "Sure, all right." And so he gave me his PlayStation to borrow so I can get him past it, and I brought it home, plugged it all in and everything, and it was the boss fight when you're going through the trials for Red, and it blew me away. Like, it was just nothing like I had ever seen before. Just like this PlayStation strategy that being able to have the strategy where you could just it's playing virtual chess, and I was like, holy shit. So I beat that. I brought it back to him the next day. I was like, here you go, dude. Thank you so much. And then I skipped school and I drove off to the nearest pawn shop about 50 miles away. I think it's
I thought it was about 80, but I guess
no, because I went to Polson. No, I went to Polson. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And drove there. I found a PlayStation to buy at a pawn shop, and I picked up Silent Hill and Legend of Dragoon because I wanted a RPG, and Legend of Dragoon looked like it was an RPG, which thank God I did, because I almost put Legend of Dragoon in instead of Final Fantasy VII, but 7 inspired it. So then, but then I got Final Fantasy VII, and it was just like, it just pulled you in, especially for the time, with the cinematics, with a cool magic system, just all these things that I've just never experienced before here.
And just fantastic soundtrack, yes.
Yeah, a killer soundtrack.
It was the full package.
Yeah, and just these characters and world that I've just, as I said, I just never experienced before. It was just the coolest thing. And sorry, what?
Oh, I was going to say, to put it into context, listen here, youngins. Everything you guys are saying about Final Fantasy VII, the remake, is exactly what we felt when we first played Final Fantasy VII, the original.
Yeah, exactly.
Graphics, the sound, the missions, the gameplay.
And thank God, because I feel like I was able to experience it all over again with the new Final Fantasy.
And that's a powerful thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It was an incredibly powerful thing. So, but yeah, Final Fantasy VII was just great. And, being able to go, once you get past the first part and you're going out on the world map, and then there's kind of hidden characters and bosses and items that you can be able to find. And it just gave you so much to be able to do. Like, it was just eye-opening for me. Like, definitely in my list of games that really stand out to me, that will always be one of my top ones.
Nice. And believe me, Final Fantasy VII was going to make my list, but just again, Chrono Trigger just for me just kind of edged it out just a bit. Yeah, because I mean, I love both stories. Although I think the overall story is a bit weaker with Final Fantasy VII, but that's just me. But again, the characters are superb, the music's amazing, graphics for the time, the experience, the whole package is phenomenal. So nice. Definitely. I know that so far the lists of our games are kind of sounding cliche, and my next one is going to be no different. But they're cliche because they're cliche because there's a reason.
Yeah,
these are huge games that have affected millions of people.
Yeah, they didn't only just inspire a future generation of developers and programmers. They inspired the industry in general. Like they say, let's make more of these things. That's why the PS2 was such an amazing just time in gaming, because there were so many RPGs being thrown on out there. There was just like, it was just you just pick this game on up. I don't know what it's going to be like, but it's going to be an adventure. Like it was a great time to be alive. I loved it.
Yeah. And the Super Nintendo era was pretty good too. I'm just going to say Super Nintendo, not as strong as PS2, but it still had a good library.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, it's a good thing you mentioned Silent Hill, because my number 3 is Silent Hill 2. And I know I get shit for playing Silent Hill's PT and looking at the wall the entire time.
Yeah.
But Silent Hill 2 struck such a massive fucking chord with me when I played the Windows version in college.
You played a Windows version?
Yeah, they made a PC version of Silent Hill 2.
Ah.
And it included the chainsaw kind of right from the get-go, and it also included that expansion pack, the Restless Dreams.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just an upgraded bundle, had sharper graphics and stuff, which I think worked to its detriment, to be honest. The clunky, grainy Silent Hill 2 PlayStation 2 graphics kind of sold a lot of the visual horror of the game. When we see monsters too clear, it kind of loses a lot of the effect. But it wasn't the monster design necessarily that really captivated me with Silent Hill 2. The whole game is a massive mindfuck. And I never thought that a video game could just genuinely like not scare me, not shake me to my core, but just like rip out my fucking soul the way it did. I mean, it's a trip into one man's hell. And if you know the spoilers and the endings and stuff, I'm not going to get into that. I mean, it's a fucking 20-year-old game, but I'm still not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it. But the symbolism, Pyramid Head being a manifestation of James's sexual frustrations and his guilt over the stuff that he's done. And the concept of, and I know this is not technically a canon concept though, but the one that sticks most with Silent Hill from then on out is Silent Hill being a town where your innermost demons are made manifest, kind of like that Russian film Solaris, right? It's just such an amazing experience, and it's just so hard to put into words, and no words can do it justice. You have to play it. You have to go on this psychological journey into this man's own personal hell. And I've never experienced anything like that, hardly at all ever since. Not any movies, not TV shows, and very few games have completely changed the way I view games, and even the horror genre as being that profound. So that was a fucking earth-shattering game.
Yeah. No, Silent Hill 2... I
thought you were just going to say yeah.
No. Silent Hill 2 was just, like I said, it's just mind-shattering.
Yes.
And I remember...
Again, a game I first saw you play at your house, and then later I decided to pick up because it looked cool, and then just absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah, no, it was, I always remember going through the apartments and such, and then on the other side of the bars, after coming out of a door on the other side of the bars, was Pyramid Head just staring at you, not moving at all, and just absolutely terrified me. Like it was just, I just stood there for a while. Like, I was literally just locked in just this rare kind of fear that I feel when playing games or watching movies or anything like that. And yeah, it was just, that was just one moment of all those. I mean, going and just exploring just the streets, running around the streets and everything. And that was the good thing about it. The great thing about it too is that the music was just minimal in there. When it was there, it was powerful. But when you're walking around the streets, you've got this fog everywhere. You can hear the monsters, but there's no music, So you're hearing everything around you, but you can't see it. And it's just
sometimes the most effective sound is silence.
And so it just added to everything. So it was really just, and those kind of games back then, with the tank controls and all of that, just kind of added a little bit of claustrophobia to everything, because you don't have the mobility that you would want in real life to be able to get away from these terrifying things on your screen. And so
you're not being a military guy, at least not in this Silent Hill game. You're not punching the monsters and shit. You're not capable. You are slow. You are clunky, and that just adds to the terror that you can't fight these things very well. So you got to avoid them at all costs.
Yep. No, it's it was a hell of a game though. A lot of fun. I've never had so much fun being so damn frightened.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing too, is, I mean, the one reason I didn't play Silent Hills PT well at all is because I knew that there's a jump scare coming, and I fucking hate jump scares. I hate jump scares. I mean, to me, number one, they're cheap. They don't stick in your head
effective.
Like Silent.
You're upset because they're effective.
They are effective, and they make me sound like a bitch. Yes, I understand that, but they again, there's like a sugar rush. They're not like something that genuinely like gnaws at you while you lay in bed, It's kind of like the Joker movie. After I got done watching that, I couldn't stop thinking about it for like 2 or 3 days. Silent Hill 2, after I finished the game, I couldn't stop thinking about it for about 2 or 3 years, right? And I despised these pop-up jump scare games like Five Nights at Freddy's, right? But here's the thing: is I respect the people who play Five Nights at Freddy's for the lore that the original had, and all these conspiracy theories around it, because that's the one thing Silent Hill 2 had, was a lore that just like even like in the last 6 months, and this is a spoiler, so skip about 30 seconds ahead, starting now if you don't want to hear it, but I had never realized that James's wife is in his fucking car from the beginning. I mean, that was a revelation that I was like, what the fuck? Another layer in this fucking rotting onion that I just can't stop like pulling back. I mean, it's so fucking profound that I just can never get it out of my mind. That was, again, a life-changing experience completely.
No, it was definitely a game for an entire generation. Really.
Oh, it's any generation, man.
Yeah,
it's a game for the ages.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Absolutely.
So now you got to follow that up, bitch.
I was gonna follow that up actually with Silent Hill 2.
Oh,
that
nice.
was my next one.
Wow, happy little surprises. Just like Bob Ross says, there's no accidents, just happy little surprises.
Exactly. So while we talk, I'm gonna figure out another one here for the 5th. So.
Oh no, we talked long enough on Silent Hill 2. We can cross over. That's not a problem, unless you got another one on top of your head you want to use.
No. I mean, that's why I was gonna be thinking of another one there. So, but regardless,
if Nat was here, she'd actually say Silent Hill 3 and and Mel 2. That are the idea that the town makes monsters out of your memories, like later games do, is bullshit. So yeah. I'm just gonna drop that entire bit. You guys can speculate that on your own, but
yeah. But I'll put for my next one here though. I will put in Mass Effect. Yeah,
good choice. Mass
Effect, the first one. It's still my favorite in the franchise. Just because it's more RPG heavy. It got very simplified in terms of the RPG aspects, going forward from there, except for like Mass Effect Andromeda kind of brought back the more RPG basics of it a little bit, which was nice. But Mass Effect though was just something. There was nothing else that came close to it when it was out. It was this massive story, and the one thing that set everything apart on this game was the lore in it. That game had so much fucking lore in it that I soaked every bit of it up. Like I like sci-fi stuff. I wouldn't say I'm like super hardcore into it there, but it felt, like sometimes you'll be reading some text from like a sci-fi or fantasy novel or anything like that, and they'll throw in some words that you don't even fucking understand because it's like words that's in this galaxy, but you don't know what the definition is. Like in the year 1740 Celsius, you're like, I don't know what the fuck a Celsius is, but
then you gotta look it up.
Yeah, like Mass Effect broke it down real easy for everybody, so you can be able to understand its world.
Yeah, it totally out Star Trek.
Yeah, like it was great. There was a massive, just a huge diverse of like a lot of diversity amongst the aliens, like different types of aliens, planets, like their backgrounds, their
habitats.
Their habitats and their habits, their speaking, how they spoke, and it was just it just blew me away. And the combat was okay. It wasn't too terrible, but it was definitely not an easy game either. That game was kind of a tough game, but it made it so just you really cared about the characters, and it was also one of the bigger games, one of the kind of the first games that really made you feel the weight of your fucking decisions in there. Like there was a decision that I had to make in that game where it seriously took me about 15 minutes just sitting there, just like, do I really have to make this choice? I don't want to. Like it was good, and I don't think I'll ever really play anything that hit me as hard as that, in terms of just being able to feel a universe as strongly as I did there. Like to be able to just really understand it as quickly as I was able to, where it was just incredible writing. So yeah,
go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Go. What were you saying?
I was gonna say my first foray into Mass Effect was actually Mass Effect 2 because I had a PlayStation 3, and I didn't get Mass Effect 1 because I'm a bad boy. But no, I mean when I first started playing Mass Effect 2 also, not 2, the diversity of the species that they had, like one that giant frog race has like millions of babies that are going to overpopulate the galaxy, and then another race had to create like a germ or something like that to make them mostly infertile so they wouldn't overrun the galaxy. And then
the Krogan.
You have another race that created the machines, and the machines are taking over everything, and they've been kicked out. They're nomads now, floating around space. And even an alien species that looks like a fucking walrus with gorilla legs that has to
the Elcor
can't emote, and they have to say like surprised, and so
yeah, they have to express what they're feeling because they're so deadpan that you don't know how they feel. So
yes,
surprised response, I don't know why you feel that way.
Yeah, but again, it's something that is far more plausible for life outside of the solar system, because different things that become intelligent, and it's just again, like you said, the lore, why certain creatures look like they do is because their homeworlds do this and the biology does this, and it's like, holy crap. So yeah. It's a deep ass game, and I was floored.
And they kind of poke a little fun, or just these little tidbits that just make it feel like a living world. One of my favorite things was an announcement that you hear in the elevators, and it says about some big director making the first like Shakespearean show composed entirely of Elcor.
Oh no.
And you're just like, What?
Longingly, Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo?
Exactly. Like, that's exactly what the whole thing would be. Because it's just, but then it just makes you think, like, well, how much, like, what if it was an Elcor that directed this? Because on their home planet, the Elcor, the way they communicate is through different pheromones and slight movements, like small, subtle movements of their bodies.
Right.
And so it's like, well, what if they did that on their home? Like, how would that look if it was like in front of an audience of Elcor and they just did it in their native way that they communicate? Like, it brings up a whole bunch of cool, fun stuff. Like, I don't know.
It'd be Ben Stein presents Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. And with Mass Effect, like, Mass Effect was also one of the most exciting last half hours of a game I've ever played. Like, the end was just, it felt like you were playing a blockbuster Hollywood movie. And I remember just smiling, just ear to ear, and I was leaning forward in my chair and I was just giddy with just excitement because it was just such a big moment. You know, it's just like you got 80 hours of this game and it's led up to this huge ass thing. There's explosions everywhere and it felt huge. And not every game is able to do that, but the Mass Effect series is pretty damn good at it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I mean, again, you could say that Mass Effect had a mass effect on you.
Fuck you. But it is true. It did.
So now I'm curious what the fill-in game is going to be, since we both chose Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
But
you keep going.
Do you have one, or do you need to look up one?
Oh no, you can go ahead and keep going.
I'll stall.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 2, and this is perfectly in order. My number 2 is gonna be a game from my childhood, the one that actually got me really into gaming. Mm-hmm. Like when I was young, I used to go over to my grandma's house, and she'd have a Nintendo NES sitting there waiting for me, and I'd spend like countless hours on this one fucking game because it was so brutal. It's also one of the very first games to ever have cinematic cutscenes, and I'm talking about Ninja Gaiden for the NES.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yep, Ninja Gaiden for the NES. I've got a perfectly mint box copy of it in cellophane. Cost me about $50, but worth every fucking penny. But that is my goddamn jam. I fucking love that game. I can play it any day of the week, and the story is ridiculous. I keep talking about how ridiculous JRPGs are. The story of Ninja Gaiden is kind of ridiculous, and it's not really the story that's amazing. It's the fact that it actually had a story in the days of, you know, your little jumping character just collects points and saves princesses and shit. I'm not ragging on Mario, but I am. But no, that was one of the games that made me think, you know, I really want to make shit like this. I mean, it's just, the music, the graphics, everything was, again, top of the line for its time. But I don't know, it's a hard one to explain, to be honest, especially with people who have never grown up with an NES. It's really hard to convey how important this game was, not only for the industry, but especially for me personally. So, you have any experience with the old Ninja Gaiden?
A little bit. To me, it just kind of felt like a faster version of Megaman and such. So
fair enough.
I wasn't. Similar. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a side scroller, little shooter game,
platformer, action platformer.
Exactly. So, you know, it felt the same to me. You know, you had to think faster. You couldn't always keep trying to backtrack. That was one thing I really didn't like about it, is that, you know, sometimes you'll go for a jump and you're like, oop, nope, and then you'll go back, but then the enemy that you just killed on the platform that you need to go to just reappeared because you went too far backwards.
It went too far off the screen that it disappeared, or it reappeared and then respawned.
Exactly.
Of course, sometimes you can also edge enemies off the screen too, so that's kind of a mixed blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
From a technical standpoint, maybe it's nothing terribly special except for the cutscenes, which were pretty huge, and the music is still memorable, I think. The first NES games I ever played were Mario Brothers, Contra, and Ikari Warriors 2. And none of those games really had a massive impact on me, but it was when I played Ninja Gaiden that I really started developing this love affair with video games, and also this interest in actually eventually making them. So that's the effect it had on me personally.
Yeah. I don't think there was really a whole lot of platformers out there that just kind of had its level of challenge.
Because it was brutal in places too. I mean, again, once you kind of get the muscle memory for it, you can kind of fly through it, except for some bits with the jetpack ninjas. But it can be a brutal game. It's very proto Dark Souls, in a lot of ways. But it's also a satisfying game. And again, the technical standpoint, it was one of the first games to actually have a story, begin to end. So definitely left a mark on me and on the industry. And I would more than love to play this on the stream sometime, but I don't want to humiliate myself because I'll miss that first leap of faith and totally look like a jerk off.
Yeah,
wouldn't be anything new.
Your blasphemous play actually was. I mean, it's very Ninja Gaiden. Like,
yeah, it's unfortunately Ninja Gaiden. I actually played it enough that I can fly through it. Whereas blasphemous, no, I ate shit so many times. Walk through a door, fall on spikes.
Drink a health potion on a crumbling platform, fall to your death.
Yep. Although I gotta say, I do rock Katana Zero, and I also rock The Messenger, which are two games that took quite a lot of inspiration from Ninja Gaiden for the NES, especially The Messenger.
Yeah.
So there's so many little Easter eggs in that game that's like, aha, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great game, and definitely on my number 2 spot.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Now, how about you, dude? Is this one that just like is your next one that just had like an amazing experience, or was it something that totally revolutionized your world?
We're gonna go with both.
Nice.
Like, it revolutionized. Yeah, it revolutionized first just how games operated at the time, and also just how I viewed characters. This was really like my first, like, I've loved characters, like Megaman and such, they're like, there's the blue bomber, he's a cool dude, kind of stuff. But like, this was like a character where you just felt and you just absolutely loved. And this is my fill-in here, by the way, that I'm putting on in, because I was thinking about it, but this definitely has an impact on me. But we're gonna go with just any of them, but we'll go with the first, Max Payne. Max Payne, just the gameplay, first of all, was awesome. I mean, you just dive through a door, got your dual pistols, everything's slow motion, you could just, Molotov bottle blows up, you see the flame burst out in slow-mo and everything. Like, it was just cool. But the story was just the way they told it, with all of the different kind of like comic book style, but the noir is what I love.
Film noir especially, man.
The noir take on it all was so damn good that, like, I couldn't help but just absolutely fall in love with the game even before I played a moment of the actual gameplay, because just the way that it's written just feels very, just like those old school, like, hard detective kind of things, and it just blew me away. In the character development of Max throughout the series, and especially going into 3, is just, it's such a sad character to see. I mean, he is
definitely a Punisher type, the tortured soul, the tortured adventurer.
Yeah, I would say he's probably got it rougher than Punisher. Like, this guy is just seen so much, and in between Max Payne 1 and 2, I mean, those games are pretty much back to back in terms of timeline. That is a lot of shit that's happening to that poor dude in such a short amount of time. And in Max Payne 3, they really bridge everything together really well too on all of that. And it's just a man who has just been beaten down so hard by society, by just life happening. I mean, the the whole series opens up to his wife and kid being killed. There's a bloody crib where his baby was, and they were killed by just these guys that were all just methed up on the Valhalla drug there. Like it was just it's devastating. But you still
especially
have
those nightmare sequences in the first one.
But you know, it's a character that, despite all of this, knows deep down that there are good things that he is able to do, even if he thinks of himself as this piece of shit that can't pull himself together. And it's an inspiring character, really, and just so well written. To me, I mean, this is it's one of the best examples I've ever seen of a video game character being brought to life. It's just great. So, but
quick question: Did they ever find a way to patch out the permanent stink face in the first Max Payne?
No, because I mean that's how
facial
he was.
Expression he has.
Yeah, that was just how he was made, you know. So
yeah, I'm teasing though, but that's one of the common criticisms is in slow motion you see this guy, he looks like he smelled like someone ripped one.
Yeah, I mean they weren't a big developer
studio.
Yeah, they weren't that big. And so I mean that the guy who that the person's face on there, isn't that the writer and voice actor anyways?
I think so.
I think, yeah. So it's like they just had such a small budget. They're like, hey, you want to do this too? You want your face on this? It's like it's amazing the whole thing happened in the first place.
The expression he had when he was kind of mulling it over is the face they used for him throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. It didn't take anything away from me.
I'm teasing. You see the back of his head more often than not anyway. And plus, like you said, the character development's really strong. You have this fantastic modern day film noir where a guy is avenging he's climbing up the ladder trying to find out who's creating this drug.
Yeah. And you know, and how the whole thing starts is seeing the end of the game. Pretty much they kind of Tarantino it, you know, where you see the ending and then you play through the game to where it leads up at, you know, and just the way that the noir lines that opens on up here with it's they were all dead. The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger and then it was over. Like,
yep,
that's like cool. I'm in.
Yeah, that's a fucking hook.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, no, it's Max Payne. I've played through the game so many times, and I just there's very few other games where I appreciate the writing as much as I do with those games. It's outstanding.
Nice.
But all right,
all right. Well, my last one probably had the biggest effect on me, kind of like something like Ninja Gaiden did. Where this is the one that had become an obsession to me, and I think Llama already kind of knows what it is, but don't spoil it. But ever since I saw previews of this game in like an Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine, I was like, shit, I am so fucking hooked, and I was hyped with. Do you remember Nick back in like 4th grade?
I don't know.
Oh, well, anyways, also a fellow game geek, and he and I would spend so much fucking time just like making up our own game in our own heads and stuff, and it's hard to explain without revealing what it is. So
I'll reveal it now. It's Bubsy.
God damn it! I was actually gonna I was actually gonna go. It's Bubsy the Bobcat, and then just try getting your expression. God damn it! You beat me to it, motherfucker.
I knew you were I know you. I got it.
God, shit.
Well, I knew you'd be messing around. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, but no. My number one pick. It's not the first one in the series, which I was already a huge fan of, though. But when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, that was probably like a rallying cry for everything I ever wanted to see in a video game. I mean, I remember you and I met each other purely by coincidence in an arcade. We were watching the teenagers playing Mortal Kombat 2 and eating fucking, playing Reptile and eating the guy's head and sucking him and spitting out the bones and
that was a moment, dude.
And shit.
I remember that like it was yesterday, dude. Like,
me too, man. Over at Aladdin's Castle in the mall, it was like, that was the shit. But,
so funny too, like pure coincidence, because I mean, if this is a city that's 80 miles away from the hometown that we grew up in, so not only was there the pure chance that both of our families just decided to come in to get groceries from the big city and everything that day, but they decided to let us just kind of drop us off at the mall at the same time as well. So it was meant to be for us to experience Mortal Kombat 2 for the first time.
Yes, and again, if you ever see an arcade cabinet, if you're lucky enough to see the Mortal Kombat 2 arcade cabinet, it is almost bigger than life when you're like, what, 12 years old, something like that, right?
Oh yeah, dude. You're like, Titans
the
play on this thing.
Yes, and the crystal clear screen and the massive side arcade cabinet art, and I mean, and the rumbling sound. I mean, the sound systems on these things are just fucking epic, right? I mean, you can just hear like the bass and shit of every single uppercut and all the fatalities screaming right over top of every other arcade, the entire area. The biggest thing was not only the game, but the impact it made on me, right? Because Nick and I, we got a copy of Electronic Gaming Monthly, and it was his copy, and it was basically premiering Mortal Kombat 2. And there were like, you know, character sketches, and they showed like some different iterations of Baraka and Shang Tsung and the, you know, Shao Kahn stuff. And we were like drawing like the fatalities and stuff on notepads, notebooks, and we were actually like pretending that we were making like Mortal Kombat 4, and we were like designing new characters and making all these like fatalities and shit, and they were way worse than anything that our 12-year-old minds were way worse than anything you fucking saw in an actual Mortal Kombat sense. It was just one of those things where it's like, man, I want to make a game, I want to make a fighting game, I want to make a game like Mortal Kombat, I want to make Mortal Kombat. And I think that's kind of the turning point where not only Ninja Gaiden though, but after that I was like, yeah, eventually I need to make games in the gaming industry. I mean, that was my calling, just because it was epic. It was my possibly even mine and Llama's fucking Avengers Endgame. I mean, it was just like it was the biggest and baddest thing out there.
No, that was definitely the game that, I mean, Mortal Kombat started it all, but
yeah, especially with the controversies it generated along with Night Trap.
Yeah, but Mortal Kombat 2 is where it really started taking off, because you could tell how much attention, how much love was put into this next one here, that this is going to be a series that's going to stick around for a long time, and it's going to be here to influence like culture for a while, because I mean it's that generated just so many different like fighting games, and just in conversations and art styles and just all sorts of really cool things. Like it was definitely Mortal Kombat 2 was kind of a catalyst for seeing games mature a lot faster.
I mean, that's actually a huge and profound point you're making, is seeing Mortal Kombat 1, a little bit of blood, the super secretive fatalities, that's fine, but the minute you start seeing Mortal Kombat 2 where it's just buckets of blood, insane fatalities, get cut in half, heads are rolling, all that kind of shit, that was almost like a passage into manhood, really, in a lot of ways. I mean, that when we were 12-ish...
If you're a nerd.
Yeah, especially if you're a nerd. But and being a nerd back in that day was not a cool thing to be. Anyways, being a young adult, like becoming a teenager, right? And seeing the industry growing up with you, that was again, transformative, man. That was a fucking moment.
Yeah. No, that's
but again, I mean, like you said, you know, it took a massive leap, because after Mortal Kombat 1, I mean, and all the controversy it got, it's like Ed Boon and co. were just like, you know, we don't give a fuck, we're gonna go like 5 times bigger and better than the previous one. Unlike now, I think Ed Boon's a bit he's trying to get some of that esports money, but yeah, it's yeah, well, no, but I mean, like, he's toned down a lot of stuff under the Warner Brothers. I mean, the fatalities are still graphic as all hell, though, but he's also caved into a few things. But anyways, that's neither here or there. But when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, it was like, just push everything to 10, to 11, turn it all up to 11. We're gonna make the most fucked up thing you'll ever see. and it was groundbreaking, and nothing's ever made me want to make games ever like that before or after.
It was a game that also just really put gaming culture out there,
especially for an older crowd, man.
Exactly, like that was an exclamation mark for the industry to say that, you know, we're fucking here. It's time for some fucking games. You know?
And especially pandering to the adult crowd. I mean, it was like the industry's growing up with people playing it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, it was good stuff for sure.
Good stuff.
Hell,
yes. I still love Rocket Me Mortal Kombat 2, and again, it's a Mortal Kombat game that Mortal Kombat has been chasing ever since, because they keep doing reboot after reboot. You know, Shaolin Monks, Mortal Kombat 2, very heavy. 2009 version of Mortal Kombat, very centric on more the Mortal Kombat 2 mythos than either 1 or 3.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, myself, I think Shaolin Monks was something completely different from what
I mean, like the setting and stuff, and the characters, and I mean, it's ever since. I think even Mortal Kombat 3 was a lot weaker than 2. I mean, it was a modern setting. They had to do something different, obviously. Yeah. But Mortal Kombat 2 just set the bar so freaking high. They've been trying to chase it ever since.
I mean, in terms of what it accomplished, I guess, yes.
Yeah, but also the setting and the characters, and, you know, they introduced friendships, and now you see in Mortal Kombat Aftermath, friendships are back. It took the gore to 11, introduced some of the even more of the most iconic video game characters of all time, and yeah, I mean, most of the stuff is Outworld centric now versus being a Mortal Kombat tournament. Now it's all about trying to protect Earthrealm from an alien invasion. Yeah. So it just changed the course of the game series as a whole, and they've been, you know, following it ever since.
It's pretty good. It's good stuff.
Damn good game. So you're number one. But is this the filler, or is this like your actual number one?
It said Max Payne was my filler.
Oh, okay. And we got, and I guess you're not doing it in order though, but you still got one left.
I got no order. So. But this one is one that had one of the largest impacts on me as well.
Nice.
What it accomplished, what it taught me that I can do with video games was pretty huge. It was Goldeneye 64, and it was fantastic. I will always, one of my favorite game moments like that I can ever bring up that ever happened to me was sitting in front with some friends, sitting in front of the TV playing Goldeneye. We were all playing it for the first time, taking turns on levels and such, and I got to play on the Siberia level, and I have the sniper rifle, and I'm zooming in, some dude's walking away, and my friends are like, all right, blast him in the head. And I was like, no, I'm gonna blast him in the ass. And I shot him in the butt, and the dude jumps up grabbing his butt and dancing around, and I was like, holy shit, we're in the future. Because it was just, the reactive shots was amazing, shooting a guy in the shoulder and he drops his gun, or just shooting him in the leg and he leans down, grabs his leg, like you got a bunch of guys running at you just shoot some fucking limbs, and it was cool. It felt so realistic because any other shooters, you shoot them in the leg and they're like, oh, I'm down like 7 HP, but this was just, it felt realistic, and that was, I loved the hell out of it. And then from a personal standpoint on everything, it made me realize how good I can be at games, because with like
not bragging or anything, but
I mean, yeah, no, sorry, not bragging or anything, but
I'm giving you shit, don't worry about it.
But
that's for the Bubsy.
With the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, I mean, outside of fighting games, there wasn't really any games you can go against other people with, Yep. And GoldenEye, you go split screen and you just you throw down with other people, and I mean, man, like that just opened up like all sorts of things for me to be able to play competitively, because I remember so many times doing facility, and I would be playing against my 3 other friends, and they're like, kill Bobby, and so I would look down at the floor and run up the stairs because, you know, they're screen peeking. They're trying to find out where I'm at, you know. And so I look down at the tile floor so everything looks the same. And so they're like, where is he? Where is he? And I know the map by heart. So I find myself up in the bathroom. I open up one of the stall doors and I break out the Cougar Magnum. And then when I close the door, I look straight up at it. So all they see is just a blue screen of this, me just face to face with this door. So I'm watching all three of their screens and they're opening up each stall individually, trying to figure out where the hell I'm at and such. And well, they know I put remote mines on one of the doors. And so they open it up and I'm in a stall on the other side of the bathroom and I blow them all up and then I run out again. Like, it was a lot of fun, and it was just it was a great time. It was it made me realize that I could be able to play at a competitive level on some games, and you know, ever since, I mean, and again, sorry, don't mean to make it sound like humble brags or anything like that, but I mean, I have won tournaments. I was like number 1 in the world on, you know, Burnout 3 when that came on out, Dead or Alive 4 with 3 different characters at the same time. Like, it made me just realize I can do this. And so that was kind of big for me, because
plus it's also one of those games where you can play on your own terms. Like you said, I mean, a 2D platform like Mario, you can only play the way the game wants you to play, but then you got Goldeneye where you can set a freaking booby trap in a bathroom stall and blow up your friends.
The last thing they saw was the door opening and a mine attached to it. And then you just see an explosion on all 3 screens except for mine. It was so good. Oh, it was fun. But one other huge thing about this though is that I learned I could be able to make money while playing video games, because the glorious thing about Goldeneye was that you can be able to get the cheats, but you had to earn the fuckers. So you had to complete levels on a certain difficulty within a certain time limit. And
people paid you to do it?
People paid me to do it. Nice. because I can get the invincibility cheat by running Facility on the hardest difficulty. I think it's 1:56 that you have to beat it in. So you have to get really lucky, hoping that Dr. Doak's going to be within the last section. So I mean, it's all just like, it's all luck, really. You just gotta run through, hope that you could be able to, you know, dodge through everybody and live, and then hope at the end that the doctor's there, and then hope that you could be able to blow everything up quick enough to be able to make the level end. Like, it was tough, but I got to be able to make money doing that. And judging on who it was, there were some people that I did it for $20. I did it for somebody for $40. Why? Because they were an asshole to me in school. So I felt I had the power to do it, and I did it. But
I have the power now.
Exactly. Like, it was great though. I was able to, you know, just kind of make some extra cash doing it, and it was my first taste of really being able to realize that, you know, you can make a living off of this. You know, before, you know, the esports and all that stuff, it felt weird, because at the time, gaming, being a gamer and all that stuff, it wasn't until then really that it kind of felt like it was coming around, because a lot of other people were playing the 64 and such. But
it was definitely a precursor to the sports competitions.
Yeah.
And that was really one of the very first games, besides like sports games, that you could have like proper competitions on with other people.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so yeah, GoldenEye just really, I mean, the game itself was fantastic, but what it taught me and told me what I could be able to do, you know, with myself, and with, you know, just being able to profit from it, it was just something completely, something I just never expected to get from it. So I always hold that game in high regards for what it really taught me in life. It was pretty cool.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well,
definitely no hidden gems, but we'll get to that soon. But no, these are the games that made us. These are the games that totally shaped who we are now.
So if you were wondering about our credibility, here it is. So if you think that it makes us creditable, then fantastic. If not, listen to the next one then. Just keep listening until we are.
Yes, keep listening, and then we'll eventually get some form of credibility, whether it's good credibility or not.
Love us, please.
Love us. We need your attention.
I don't care.
And like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
And have you played Raid Shadow Legends?
Oh God.
That's how we get credibility. Is we say Raid Shadow Legends is a bunch of bullshit.
So. I don't think that's how it. I don't think it.
No, by saying it's bullshit, that's how you get your credibility.
Everyone knows that. I know,
but still, it's not like you're trying to defend.
That's
them.
like saying racists are bad. That doesn't get anybody credibility. It's just common really? fucking sense.
Oh fucking hell!
But
but that's definitely how you establish credibility. You agree with everybody else.
Yes.
No surprises here.
Yeah. No. If anybody anybody listening here though wants to kind of let us know what they think, just put it down in the comments. It'd be great to be able to read and what games made other people, because everyone's got their different preferences and different things that really inspired them to be where they're at in their gaming life, and so it'd be neat to be able to listen. So definitely put them down.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't have anything particularly under the table though, but these are good games for a reason.
Yep.
And let us know what you guys think.
Hell yeah.
We'll come up with something more original in the next one, which will be our hidden gems of the last 5 years.
Yes.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
We're done.
Okay. All right. Y'all take it easy.